Lightning and thunder. As we have learned from Ezekiel, when lightning is mentioned in the Bible, it quite often refers to vehicles or flying craft. To people of ancient times, these vehicles were mysterious because flying vehicles, we assume, had never been encountered before. Ezekiel described the one he saw as moving like lightning because it moved very, very fast. The only reference he had to something that moved that fast was lightning. Also, in Ezekiel's everyday experience, a vehicle traveling that fast would surely throw the passengers off when changing direction suddenly. He only had carts drawn by beasts of burden to relate to. Thus, in his description, he was sure to mention that everywhere the vehicle went the people went also, for to him, that surely must have been most amazing. To really understand the ramifications to us of accepting thunder and lightning as symbols representing flying vehicles, one must have faith to believe that the written word is more than a mythological fable, and has meanings on various levels, other than just a literal account. Some people who spend time studying the Bible to discover its message, will have the eyes to see. However, some will never be able to see until Father wants them to. For someone without faith, the conclusions reached may or may not be interesting, but they will not have any real meaning until the prophesied events occur. And when they do, then, perhaps, non-believers will begin to question their position, and start to realize that it is best to begin seeking the truth, albeit it will be very late in the day, and they will have to cram for the final examination, Father's judgment. So, the question of the hour is, just what does it mean that there exist vehicles that operate on a much higher level of physics than we know? If you have read, you may already have learned that the purpose of our existence is to determine which of us will take part in the lake of fire. This is one of the principal reasons why things are allowed to happen. You may have also already learned that there does exist a parent universe, and that those in that other dimension use super advanced methods of travel. However, to interact with our reality, these vehicles must also operate on our level when they make the transition from super C speeds, and that other dimension. While it may be possible to cross the speed of sound barrier without producing a sonic boom, thunder to the ancients, using advanced designs, our Father would not do so when appearing before the ancients, in order to produce the desired effect, to produce wonder and awe in those people. The desired effect is biblically evidenced by the fact that when, after the vehicles of shiny metal seen zipping through the atmosphere are described as lightning, a boom of thunder is heard, a consequence of decelerating to below Mach 1. And the account being considered, reflects fear in the witnesses. In Ezekiel's case, he described the vehicles in question as moving like lightning and emerging from a whirlwind. The rapid movement of a shiny metal vehicle capable of super C velocities would appear as lightning, due to its brightness and speed. And when hovering, the vehicle, no doubt, produces a whirlwind of sand and debris. We can conclude that a vehicle was also present when Moses went up the mountain to receive the commandments. It was the arrival of one or more of these vehicles that produced the sonic booms described as thunder. It was a vehicle that was described as lightning, and that is the reason why the people were afraid to venture up the mountain to seek Moses. The vehicle arriving at the mountaintop was clearly visible from the ground, appearing like lightning due to its brightness and velocity, and its arrival created a sonic boom, described as thunder. Being unknown phenomena to the people, no one dared to travel up the mountain to investigate because, in addition to being awestruck and fearful, they were instructed not to. But here is one of the most important lessons to learn regarding the lightning and thunder spoken of in the scriptures. Luke 10 verse 18, "And he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven." As the above verse clearly states, Satan himself will arrive on this planet via a space vehicle. He will be allowed to leave that other dimension and travel to our world, and, of course, the method of travel is one of those vehicles described by Ezekiel, and mentioned elsewhere in the Bible. A super advanced craft, capable of super C and interdimensional travel. The arrival of this individual in this manner, will be hailed by some as the most remarkable single event in the history of man, first contact with an advanced race of beings from somewhere else in the universe. The dragon will use the super advanced technology at his disposal to do wondrous things. Quite possibly, He will use the technology to rearrange or extract matter, thereby curing illnesses and diseases. He will demonstrate instantaneous travel and espouse the benefits of the technology he has to mankind, if we will accept him as a benefactor. In fact, many who claim to be Christians but are ignorant of his true identity, will believe he is Christ, and will spread the word that the Messiah has returned. Once he has been accepted by the world in general, as being the first contact with an advanced civilization, and as Christ to many, he will arrange to have more of his people come from their home planet as described by the following verses. Revelation 13 verse 11, And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. 12. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein, to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. 13. And he doth great wonders, so that he make fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. 14. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. Saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword, and did live. In the first verse above, a dragon appears that looks like a lamb, but who is the lamb? I hope that you realize that the lamb is Christ. Therefore, the dragon appears in the likeness of Christ. He will deceive many into believing he is Christ, and those without faith will believe he is an advanced being from somewhere out there in the universe. In this manner, he will be able to bring the leaders of the world together, solidifying the one world system that will give him power over it. The key verse though, is verse 13, wherein he causes fire to come down from heaven. This verse is an example of how we need to consult the original language in which the book of Revelation was written, the Greek, because it establishes that Satan will bring his followers here and they will also arrive in quote-unquote, space vehicles. To study the Greek, the best tool to get you started is a concordance, and the best one of those is Strong's because it traces the English of the King James Version of the Bible to the Hebrew and Greek of the manuscripts from which the KJ Bible was produced. By locating the word fire and the verse it appears in and finding the listing for it in the Greek dictionary, we find that the Greek word for fire is literally, specifically, lightning. In the verse cited from the book of Luke, the Greek word translated as lightning is a different word than that used in verse 13 above from the book of Revelation. That word means flash as in the case of lightning producing a flash. What Christ was saying in the verse from Luke above is that Satan shall fall from heaven to the earth in a flash as lightning appearing bright like the morning star, but he is the false morning star. As we can see from the final verse cited above from Revelation, the one that appears instead of Christ, will arrive as a visitor from another world, in a super advanced craft, and he will do wonders in the sight of people by virtue of the super advanced technology he will have at his disposal. He will also summon others to the earth, whom will arrive in those vehicles symbolized by lightning in the Bible. And when these events occur, the one world political system will become the supreme authority of the entire plane, and it will be led by the dragon, Satan, the serpent, the one who comes instead of Christ. The one who comes first and deceives those who do not have the seal of our Father in their mind, who do not know that he will come first, before Christ. Will your mind be prepared for the arrival of a supernatural being, a being with super advanced technology and thus the ability to do many wondrous things, the being possibly hailed as the first visitor from quote-unquote, outer space?